Hello, welcome back to the ARCS studio. I was asked to write an article for the Clarinet and Saxophone magazine, which is going to be published at the end of March 2021. And in that I was asked to comment on how to improve our intonation during the lockdown period, where we can't play with other people. It's an important skill that we shouldn't lose, in fact need to work on quite a lot. So we're going to be using two tuning machines, one for the readout and two for the generation of the sound that we're going to play against. That will give us the opportunity to hear the difference between those two pitches and where they feel best and where they settle down. This has been an interesting exercise and was made easier for me by having this barrel from Brad Bain, which has only just arrived in this country and is adjustable in its length, which has allowed me to make the adjustments to find exactly the right pitch to be able to demonstrate this clearly. Hope you'll enjoy the rest of this video. We're going to talk about the tuning note and the major interval of a third and the minor interval of a third. Just intonation is a very big subject to discuss, but I felt that this was a useful explanation of a beginning of how you can go further with it in your own playing. So, as our introduction to intonation tuning, I thought it'd be useful to think about the first note we normally tune to, and in the orchestra that would be an A. So I'm going to play my note slightly below the A that the tone generator of this tuning machine is going to give us. I'm going to gradually bring it in, and what you'll hear is that the vibration differences get faster and faster until they settle into the same. And we should then feel that that's in tune. So this is what we're listening for when we're tuning at the beginning of a rehearsal. There's our A, and here's mine. So we'll go on to look at the tuning of two notes together and the relationship between those notes. We're looking at two charts here, basically saying the same thing. We are measuring the difference between equal temperament and just intonation, which we're going to use when playing in ensembles or even just as a duet or in a larger group. I'm going to focus on the interval of the major and the minor third. You can see the small m on the chart on the left has to be 16 cents sharp for it to be in tune with, let's say, the tonic. The major third, however, needs to be minus 14 cents. So that needs to be much flatter to actually, again, sound in tune with the tonic. Now you can see on the chart on the right that it is quite clear there that we can see the intervals and what we need to relate to that. I will put these pictures on the website separately so that you can see them a little bit more clearly, but that will give you the same figures as the chart on the left. I'm going to do a little demonstration as to how this affects the sound and what we hear. We're looking at the difference tones, and difference tones relate to the actual pitches. For example, A, we probably know, is 440 Hertz or 440. If you then place a third, a major third of C sharp, then that is at 550. That gives a difference of 110. So when the intonation lines up, because the interval is correct, in other words, the major third will be minus 14 cents, you will hear that the 110 pitch is a much clearer sound and lines up nicely and sounds in tune in a chord. I hope to demonstrate this in the duet from Mendelssohn's Fingal's Cave. We'll come to that a little bit later, but for now let's move on to a demonstration of that tuning with a tuning machine and a regular pitch. So this is going to be a demonstration of the minor third. I'm going to give myself the tonic from this tuning machine which allows a tone to be generated. This is also available on the ClearTune app, but for purposes like this it's easier to see on the big screen where the pitch of my note is going to be. So, as we know, this needs to be 16 cents sharp for the minor third. So first of all, here's our tonic, the A, and I'm going to pitch this note gradually to the right point. Hopefully you could actually hear the lower tone coming out quite clearly there, and this is the difference tones between those two pitches of the note, the A440 and the C natural. So now for the major third. Now this one needs to be 14 cents flat. So here's our 440A and here's our 550 C sharp. So I deliberately let that note go so that you could hear the difference between when it sounds, in inverted commas, in tune with itself and when it's not. That difference, as we've already described, is the difference in the number of beats per second that we hear to perceive that note, the A at 440 and the C sharp at 550. You may need to use good quality headphones to listen to this to be able to detect the harmonics that are present in that sound, those different tones. We'll move on now to the Fingal's Cave and the duet that comes from that. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. You may need to go back and listen again with perhaps decent headphones or through a hi-fi system so you can really hear those subtle different tones which are maybe not as obvious as they might be through an ordinary computer. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please click like and subscribe to the channel for future videos. See you soon.